some reason wasn't connected, but it's recorded on YouTube and Facebook. Alhamdulillah. So Al-Taghabon is surah 64 in the Quran, and the word Taghabon means um, cheating each other. Taghabon, ghabn means naqas, less. In the translation, they wrongly translated it assembly. Yawm al-Jama' could be assembly. If it was Yawm al-Jama', it's the assembly day. ذلك يوم التغابن, the assembly day, will be the day when people feel cheated by others, cheated each other. Taghabun is both ways. Somebody sell you, like I went and bought a watch in Tunisia, a Rolex, for £3. I came here, somebody was prepared to buy it for £200 or something. If I do, will be ribbon. And if he discovered that and he can't catch me, he will be really particularly upset, and he will have difficulty coping with the cheat, because that's ribbon. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ banned people going to outside the market receiving sellers, because there will be a chance for cheating. Oh, the market, they won't buy it from you. There's a market full of these, flooded, whatever. You better, sell it now for this. And then they sell it, they discover they're being cheated, and they were paid quarter of the price. Yes?
You know, a couple of years ago, I went to Mecca with my mother, and she went to buy a suitcase. I took her to the market. And this guy said, take this one, brilliant, brilliant, it's solid. So let's take this one. And I bought it. We took it back to the hotel. I put some stuff in it, lifted it up, and it broke.
In Urdu,
So I just translate to the brother that the brother said that his mother bought a bag in Hajj, and by the time they went to the hotel, he lifted it and the handle came off. Yes, brother?
the Laban is like if you have confiscated something by force unlawfully. It's not yours, but because you have got power, you go and you grab something. So that's what we call Laban. So it's similar meaning, but not cheating as such. It's it's like a robber comes and forcefully takes things from you.
That's a theft. If a robber come and steal from your house, if like a leader or somebody in power
Yeah,
force you to take something from
something
your
from you.
house,
Yeah, that's Laban
that's
written form.
confiscation. That's
But I mean, it's like forceful, but unlawful. I mean, there's no reason for it.
yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of that's what we call it Laban. In Urdu.
Probably Urghabin is not
The,
taken from Arabic.
yeah, well, it's the same word. It says Arabic word, but I
Yeah.
think the meaning is slightly changed
Ghabin
when it has
is,
moved to Urdu.
yeah, Ghabin is something usually either you've done it yourself or unknowingly somebody else cheated you, sold you something very cheap as expensive, something fake as genuine, and you were cheated. Then you have no way to get your money back or something. Islam, here mainly Ghabin in Surah Al-Taghabon, when you, the day of judgment, you will find that you cheated yourself, or people cheated you, misled you. And give you an example, somebody, it's the time usually which you might use to make money, get fame, get write books, discover things, and make relationship, and worship Allah and gain the day of judgment. Somebody might spend his years studying and become professor, and somebody by the age of 30 become a billionaire. Some by the age, you used to say millionaire, now you don't have to say billionaire. There's so many billionaires now. Um, or somebody became a president or prime minister, or somebody became head of the army, somebody became head of a big organization, and somebody done nothing. He just wasted the time. He's 30, he's 40, he's 50, and he's nothing. The other guy used his time to become professor. The third guy used his time to become super rich. The other one used his time to become famous, and the other one become leader. And he still, as he was born, ummi, like the way his mother gave birth to him. He have no knowledge, no status, no money, no achievement. So He's cheated himself, Maghboon. He's Maghboon. He didn't get what he could have done for the same number of years he lived. I always find that I'm a bit like this because many people in my age became extremely, successful. I mean, I look at Imam Ali Juma in Egypt. He's 2 years younger than me, and he's, mashallah, became head of Azhar and head of the Grand Mufti, and he wrote so many books, and he's so much, education and things, and many like this. They are similar age like me, but they are they achieved so much more than what I did. I look at people who are less than me, obviously, but can't help looking into people who,
Don't worry, we sorry hope that you are very successful in every aspect.
Generally, not
in
every,
certain area, I'm successful than other people. Not in every area.
not everybody is supposed to be successful. That's Allah's qadar. Because not necessarily I'm saying because if everybody is successful, who's going to be unsuccessful? There is has somebody has to be because if everybody is a billionaire, then a millionaire will think the same as we are thinking right now.
Yeah, if everybody is successful, who will be the unsuccessful? There's a proverb in Arabic which say, إذا أنا أمير وأنت أمير مين بده يسوق الحمير? If I'm a prince and you are a prince, who will lead the donkeys? Like,
There is a economic theory which says to run a successful economy, you need unsuccessful people as well as some form of black market for people to do all this trade. Otherwise, it's not going to.
yeah, to be successful, you have to have a black market
The black
around.
market for people to do.
Yeah, probably yes in certain countries. When I came to this country, what shocked me straight away that they are not only advanced in making planes and rockets, they are advanced in distributing letters, and they are advanced in cleaning the roads. They are advanced in getting your electricity to your house 24/7, 365 days a week. They are successful in their TV programs. They are successful in their uh, animal rights, in their children protection, in their and count. I came from an area, from a country where um, you need to go around 10 houses to find a phone to make a phone call, and you need to and wait till center connects you, and you need to wait. My letter, I was accepted. Alaikum salam. I applied to work in Düsseldorf in Germany, and I wrote my letter from my address in Harasta and things, and I should have the job because many of my friends took jobs like this, and I learned German and things. And they wrote back to me, they accepted me, and they wanted me to go and join the job. But the letter didn't get to me. We have Harasta, we have Hasaka. My letter went to Hasaka, which is the northeast of Syria. It took 2 months to come back to me, and I contacted them. They said, "We appointed somebody. The job have gone." So, just a letter, when I write a letter, I write an essay on the letter, how to get a letter to my house. Obviously, they couldn't copy the essay because it sounds so. It's the city, the country, the city, the area. And then you need to go to the third turn right from the main elbow of the road, whatever, and then by the opposite to the so and so school, and so and so. Then I gave our street a name. Didn't have a name, so I said it's Street Tariq ibn Ziyad Street in 1976. Until now, it's Tariq ibn Ziyad Street. I named the street because I wanted that has to get to me. So when they are advanced in nearly everything, and uh, and that shocked me when I came. So I felt we were maghboon in Syria. We had the same time, the same uh, brain supposedly, but we didn't achieve the same things. And until now, I get all these conspiracy theories about the virus. And these American doctors stood in Washington and they said this is all hoax and things. And I mean, if the president was saying the whole election was fake, and so don't be surprised if there's few idiots who stop and say there's no virus. And now in Birmingham, subhanAllah, we had so much letters that it's full of Asians, all ITU full of Asians, and they are dying right, left, and center. And still, some people send all the lies, and some of them is actually so old lies, they're still in circulation. So I get it from different sources. So the day of judgment will be no reverse. If you find that you cheated the day of judgment, you wasted your time and your effort, and didn't gain an entry to paradise, that's really a loss. I mean, a loss of all this life here is not a loss, because end of the day you're going to die, but the day of judgment you're not going to die. You're going to stay either in paradise forever or in la samahallah we will stay in hell forever as well. So the surah came after Surah Munafiqun. By the end, Allah told about our enemies, told about the hypocrites, and He wants us to be prepared to protect ourselves from ourselves and prepare for next time. Don't get caught. So Taghabon, you escaped your enemy, you escaped the munafiqeen, you escaped being divided and against each other. Escape from yourself now. And then he would say, escape from your own family. Will be followed by Surah Al-Talaq, that your family might be the wrong family. Then you might need to go and move on. Otherwise, don't go to Allah and say, oh, I couldn't worship you because my wife stopped me going to the mosque, stopped me praying, stopped me this and that. So that's not an excuse. So in Surah Al-Taghabon, Allah always teach us who is talking. Except certain surahs, some surahs like Surah Al-Tabara, Surah Al-Tawbah, براءة من الله ورسوله الذين عاهدتم من المشركين فسيقول سيروا في الأرض. Straight away he entered the subject. And they said this is a continuation of Surah Al-Anfal. While here straight away enter the subject, Allah Azza wa told us who is actually talking. You must listen. It's in your benefit you listen. And then told you about lessons from the past and avoid from verse 7 to verse 8, avoid claims that there is no resurrection, because that will get you lost. You don't prepare. If you don't believe there's resurrection, you don't prepare. Then you get caught. Like people who deny there is a virus, and then when somebody close to them die, then they get to accept. There's people who accept and withdraw totally, the other end of the scale. But you can't live. You need to go and walk and earn your living and buy food and drink and get treatment and help others and things. And it depends on your specialty. So there's no point to denying the day of the resurrection. The whole surah is 18 ayah, so it's not long surah. It's 2 pages. And verse 9 and 10, you will be prepared for the day of the assembly, which is called the day of discovering cheats. Who's cheating each other? Who's cheating who? Either you cheated yourself or being cheated by others. People come and teach you, oh, Darwin, everything developed by itself, there's no creation. But when they had the static state theory, it was okay to say Darwin, might be right because things developed across the years and millions and billions of years. But when Hubble came and said, no, the universe is actually 13.7 billion years old, then nothing was before there, so you haven't got a universe from eternity, then things actually has been created at one single point. Now, no, Allah Azza wa guaranteed that you will be taught the right way and the wrong way. Allah Azza wa said, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Everyone, Allah will make sure that he has the two, the right way and the wrong way, and he has to make a choice. In another ayah, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. Allah will not punish anyone until he makes sure a messenger came to him or her and told him. So this fixed assurance from Allah Azza wa that is not like, oh, I wasn't aware. No, Allah will make sure that you are aware. He sent you a messenger, show you the two ways, and He gave you the ability to choose. Some people have learning disability. They haven't got a right brain, so they can't choose, and those are not going to be punished. No.
If you're a Christian and you believe that there
a burden that Jesus is a messenger? Because isn't it that if you believe in Allah, no matter how small your belief is, you will eventually enter paradise? So if you're a Christian, like a modern Christian, would you still go to paradise eventually?
The Christian have to believe in the Bible. The Bible contains the Old Testament, which is the Torah, and the New Testament, which is the Gospels, and the Psalms of Dawood, and the church history. We had a meeting in Bristol, me, a Christian, and a Jew. Me and the Jew were more or less describing Allah Azza wa Jal similarly. So, who was different? The Christian. They chose to throw the Torah away and not believe in it, and changed it. Because Isa came, وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة. I'm your messenger from Allah to you to confirm Torah from Allah. So when they rejected the descriptions of Allah Azza wa Jal, they got themselves in the disbelief. While the Jew, they have the correct descriptions of Allah, the first and the last, the eternal, the merciful, the independent, dominant, all the descriptions we have, in the Quran, but they disobey Allah. They think they are chosen people. Whatever they do, they will go to paradise, and disobey Allah, and that's also a major sin. But the Christian did not take the descriptions of Allah in the Torah, because Allah is a forgiver. So He would have forgiven Adam. So there's no original sin. If there's no original sin, He doesn't need to send a son to get him crucified. So their sins will be erased. He can erase it by Himself. So they got themselves in multiple models, and this is Allah is not accepting because they have it in their book, which they are supposed to read it. You go to hospitals, usually they have Bible by each bed. Now they have Quran. Now they said in Solihull, in Birmingham,
Not
reading the Quran.
Every kind of bed. There is no Bible either. But
They removed the Bible.
yeah, there is no Bible, no Quran.
When I was there were Bibles.
So, but you can get Quran Cube from the chaplaincy. So I've actually got few Quran Cubes for my
And you can
patients, and then
listen or read.
Listen. So it's
Listen.
like a small radio which carries
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
reading Quran.
So Allah will not punish until He makes sure everyone had the message and the correct description of Allah, and He chose not to. We had a Hindu guy here. He accepted the descriptions of Allah I gave him, but I want to keep descriptions of Allah He has, like God incarnated in the cows and the sea and the sun and this and this. The Christians say only God incarnated through Jesus. So the descriptions of Allah is wrong. So they chose to reject their views into Allah Azza wa Jal. This is what I want Allah to look like, and they drew Him. Now in Islam, haram to draw Allah Azza wa Jal, but they do. They ask the children in the school, draw God. And I was in the SACRE, Standing Advisory Committee for Religious Education. I was a member there, and I objected that they teach the children how to draw God. And they said, no, they must have imagination. So that contrary to the Bible, the description of Allah in the Bible. How would you draw somebody who have no age? Remove the universe, Allah is there. How are you going to draw Him? Can you see Him to draw Him? So if you give 100 people 100 pages and say, draw the devil, you will get 100 or 200 devils, because nobody saw the devil. So everybody will draw the devil from his mind. They create the image of the devil. So here Allah said, that's the day when you find that you cheated yourself, you've been cheated by others, and they ask Allah to punish them. They cheated us. Allah will say, everyone will have his share of punishment. Don't worry. So he'll be cheated for himself, and he will be cheated for cheating others. فيحملن أوزارهم وأوزار الذين صدوهم يعني. They will carry their own sins and the sins of those who they misled. So it will be double. Brother, so verse 11 and 13, don't blame tribulations. Just obey Allah Azza wa Jal and obey His Messenger. Could be, oh, I lost my father, I lost my mother, I was terrible family, I was abused as a child, I was this, I was that. Like, this lady who killed a pregnant woman in America. Oh, she was this mentally subnormal, she was abused as a child. They tested her again and again and again. They found that she was in the right line and she knew what she's done, and they executed her 2 days ago last. So, so you can't just make silly excuses. And in verse 14 and 15, Allah will say, beside yourself, your enemy could be your wife, and your children your enemy. So be careful. She might not be directly your enemy, but she could stop you from worshipping Allah or believing in Him or follow the halal all the time. Or that there's influence. People in a family influence each other. And Allah ends the surah by telling us what's the best advice we should get. What's unique in Surah Taghabon, Allah said, فَمِنْكُمْ كَافِرٌ وَمِنْكُمْ مُؤْمِنٌ. We will come to the meaning in a minute, inshallah. وَاسْتَغْنَى اللَّهِ. I made a khutbah once before the lockdown about وَاسْتَغْنَى اللَّهِ. That Allah Azza wants us now. Muslim, he doesn't want Hajj, doesn't want Umrah, doesn't want people to go to the mosque. You all, evilness widespread, I must put a stop to it. So even if he locked down Masajid, and if he locked down the Haram and the Mecca and the Medina and things, and Allah called the Quran and Sunnah وَالنُّورِ الَّذِي أَنزَلْنَا. So the Quran is a light, like a torch. You have the knowledge from the Quran, you find your way around. You don't get lost in life. And ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ التَّغَابُن. Taghabun is only mentioned in this surah, the word Taghabun. And وَمَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, and that we need to go and discuss it really well. And وَمَنْ يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ يَهْدِي قَلْبَهُ. So you ask for Allah, you search for Him, you try to find about Him, and you read the books from Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah guides your heart. And that's not education guide, that's a help guide. Because you have education, they tell you about all religions, and you tell you about the good and the bad and things, but you have to make a choice. When you make the choice, Allah will help you stick to it. So Allah will guide your heart, become a believer. Nothing will shake you away from it. وَمِنْ إِنَّ مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ وَأَوْلَادِكُمْ عَدُوًّا لَكُمْ. That's also, you have to go through it. That is, some of your wives and children could be your enemy. And وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ. It's very important you ask Allah to protect you from your own stinginess and meanness and being really so refusing to help and refusing to. So when you go to the surah itself, يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير هو الذي خلقكم. Then Allah mentioned and it goes through it. فمنكم كافر ومنكم مؤمن. خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق وصوركم فأحسن صوركم. يعلم ما في السماوات والأرض يعلم ما تسرون وما يعلنون. ألم يأتكم نبأ الذين كفروا من قبلكم فذاقوا وبال أمرهم. زعم الذين كفروا أن لم يبعثوا. And then Allah goes to the subject here. So it's around 7 ayahs to talk about the subject. يوم يجمعكم فآمنوا بالله ورسوله والنور الذي أنزلنا والله بما تعملون خبير. يوم يجمعكم. So do all this, believe in all this until. Why? Because the day of assembly will be a day of finding out that you're being cheated. To being cheated by yourself mainly. You had the life, you didn't use it, and the time and the health. And وَمَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَيَعْمَلْ صَالِحًا يُكَفِّرْ عَنْهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِ. But if you believe, Allah will forgive your sins. And the second page, Allah Azza wa Jal will tell us about and then he start taking our excuses away. That, oh, there's my difficulty, my disability, my life as a child, my time when I was in school, people abused me, people were racist against me. Allah take all these excuses, including your wife and your children. Allah warning you that yes, they could be your enemy. They could get you away from paradise. So you need to be careful even with your own family um, and your money. And they are meant to be a test for you, tribulation. So you have to do your best to obey Allah Azza wa Jal. فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم واسمعوا وأطيعوا. So do as much as you can. Because you're not going to be 100% perfect, but you must put all the time and effort to get to obey Allah Azza wa Jal and His Messenger. Now,
So I believe the meaning is azwaj means your spouses, not wives, because otherwise wives will say that it's only wives who are.
no, min azwajikum.
So azwaj means the spouse, not the wife.
Yeah, wife
So,
or husband.
yeah.
Yeah.
The spouse.
Azwajukum, yes, sorry, yes. Zawj could be husband or wife, but min azwajikum, which means
From your spouse.
some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them. Some of them are not. Some of them are better than you. So the husband could be better than the wife could be better than the husband. They both could be good, but could be that both could be bad, or one of them bad and drift, move the other one to his side. Um, and then Allah will tell us the way. One of the ways out of it is to start giving loans to Allah Azza wa, because Allah Azza wa doesn't want you to give the poor. I'm giving you. I'm better than you. I'm lending Allah Azza wa. Don't expect from the poor to give you back, or somebody you had when he was in trouble, and then you expecting them to give you back because he's now well off and he has money. So alhamdulillah, when I gave some members of my families, I didn't give them loans, just a gift. Because I don't want to keep in my mind, oh, they have enough money, they never gave back to me. They should have given me with the inflation, and the money was able to buy me whatever. My uncle lent somebody 15,000 Syrian pounds in 1955. 1955, 15,000 Syrian pounds will buy you um, three um, three floors buildings, like will buy you like 9, 10 flats. And he came to give it to him. He died, and he gave them to his son. We were talking about inflation at that time, and he said he gave him. He could only buy 3 doors with the 15,000 Syrian pounds. Now he can't buy even a sandwich because the the inflation took all the value of the Syrian money. So you're lending Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will pay you back. And Allah Azza wa Jal will give you multiple of this. So if we go back to the surahs, phrase by phrase, so we're trying now to get the overall meaning of the surah, what's going to be discussed in the surah. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, like the all surah tasbih, either sabbaha in the past, or yusabbihu, or sabbih. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى. Allah ordering us to praise our Lord. يسبح continuously. يسبح سبح in the past. But it is in the case of Allah Azza wa, continuously all what's in the heavens and the earth praise Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He summarized Himself in a way none of us could be like this, because له الملك ما في السماوات له يسبح له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض له الملك is the one, the real owner, because you just die and you leave everything behind, nothing you can take with you, no matter what you do. It's like this guy who's going to give you a joke now. This guy who left him bulk of gold, and he insisted on his wife that you should put it with me in the grave, and you must. And he took her signature, everything, just so he died and buried him, and her friends came, and what happened to the gold? Have you given him the gold? Is it in the grave? She said, no, I put them in the bank, and I wrote a check for him and left the check in the coffin so he can cash it the day of judgment. So you're not going to take anything. There's a picture came recently that people took their loved one to the grave, and he went downstairs to the grave by himself, carrying 2 bags, written on it his deeds, while his money in the side and children on the side and the car in the back, and he didn't take anything with him, only his deeds. So Allah is the real owner, and to Him everything, the thanks go to Him for creating everything, creating your mom and dad. Allah wants you to be really good to your mom and dad because they gave birth to you. But Allah made you. This just happened that, they liked each other, and purposely or not purposely you came. Um, so وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ نَافِلَةً. Allah said about Ibrahim, Allah Azza wa Jal gave him, alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah gave him Ishaq as a child, Farud, and Nafila as Sunnah, Yaqub. So Yaqub came as Nafila. So we say my last son, Talha, he came as Nafila from Allah Azza wa Jal. Because he didn't plan to have 4 children. We had to change the car, change the house, change this, change that. So, وَلَهُ الْحَمْدِ. Everybody asks, thank him, and we thank Allah for giving us Talha. And وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Not only he owns, you might own the whole of Britain, but you can't even live in it, all of it. And you can't sell it. Who's going to buy it? You can't actually. I mean, the Queen owns all these, places, but she's not going to live in it all the time. In one place, one bedroom. Like Sultan Bruno has 1,000 bedroom in his palace, but he can only sleep in one bedroom at any time. So the rest is the waste. He can get some homeless because we have plenty of here. Can send them to him. Um, but Allah Azza wa Jal is in control of it, all the time, and He can make the changes in it. I always, Shaitan bring ideas how Allah can control everybody everywhere at the same time. Remove the universe, there will be Allah Azza wa Jal. So when He created what He created, He's in control of all of it, all the time. Allah is not there and He's not here. He came from there. No. When teachers, they say, وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. They say metaphoric. Allah is not far away to come. So He is not here to go there. So there's nothing called travel for Allah Azza wa Jal. When Allah Azza wa Jal took Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Mi'raj from A to B, it's not travel for Him. He just passed all this massive universe and went to the throne and above the 7 heavens. So for Allah Azza wa Jal, distance is not there. This is why He is able to do all things. So be careful. He is the one going to tell you what's best for you. So listen to Him, because He is the one who created you. فَمِنْكُمْ كَافِرٌ وَمِنْكُمْ مُؤْمِنٌ. So this the choice of Allah Azza wa Jal, that He made people able not to believe in Him. And He made people able to believe in Him. And those who believe in Him, they will carry on believing in Him no matter what happened. They could have diseases, disasters, they become very poor, very sick, very threatened, put in prison, persecuted, thrown in the fire, thrown in the jail, but they will not change their belief. Why? Because they have that choice to believe or not to believe. They made the choice to believe, and that's unshakable belief. So Allah Azza wa Jal chose to create us to have the choice to become kafir or mu'min. And the jinn like this. And the jinn, in the case of the jinn, could disobey or obey Allah Azza wa Jal. Because this is what Iblis did. He disobeyed Allah Azza wa Jal. So, when you go to the books of the tafsir, the problem many have is, are you forced to believe, or did you believe by choice? So Allah Azza wa Jal, yes, He created you. He created the action you can do. He created the things you can eat and stay alive. He created the things which can kill you if you eat it. But He created you with the free will. And that's must. You have to believe that. وَكُلُّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ. Surah Al-Isra, every human, we created him with his own decision-making ability is within his neck, his own neck. So it's his responsibility. Nobody is catching you from your neck to do things. You are in control of your brain, and Allah guide you, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. But Allah made sure that you know the good and the bad. And if you don't know, Shaitan will tell you what the bad, and the angels will tell you what the good. And if you don't have enough Shaitan, there's a human Shaitan who will tell you what's the bad. I mean, when I came to Britain, Alhamdulillah, I mean, I lived in an area, I didn't even know what the alcohol looked like. I only knew beer looked like yellow, like they used to tell us, like the water. When you pass urine, if you are mistaken, if you put it in a bottle, somebody else might think it's a beer. But I didn't know what, what the color of the rum and the whiskey and the. I didn't never had anything in front of me, and somebody told me this is this. When I came to Britain, I had to learn, because when people come tell me now they are addicted to this, I want to know whether it's alcohol or not. Or if I go to buy things from the market, I used to look into, if I find a word I didn't know the meaning. We didn't have Google at that time or walking dictionary. You used to leave it. We didn't eat biscuit in Britain for nearly 5, 7 years, and then biscuits start appearing with butter in it. Used to be fat. They didn't used to say whether it's just animal fat. So it could be pork, could be dead animals, could be whatever. So just drop it. We didn't eat it. We survived, never died. Um, so Allah Azza wa Jal will make sure that you know the good and the bad, which will get you to hellfire. Um, and Wallahu bima ta'maluna basir. Everything you do, He is seeing it, and see what you meant by it and why you did it and your intention. Because sometimes you do something, you think you're doing something good, it turns up to be bad. Vice versa, you do something bad, which turns up to be good. Um, but Allah Azza wa Jal is aware. Your intention is important. It's known that the one who harmed the children more is the father, because he liked to look after his son, but he failed. He liked to look after his son, took him to the park, but he hit the tree or something. Um, so Allah is aware of what you do and your intention. And خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق, with the truth, following a law, following the order from Allah Azza wa Jal, listening to the command. ولقد عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. Allah offered the responsibility of taking care of things to heavens and earth and mountains, then they refused. But the human took that responsibility. It's easy if I say to you, can I keep with you this £1,000? Easy when you take it, but when I come to collect it, become difficult. You become like, I'm rich now, why I should give it to him? Or my car, use my car, or use my house or something. There's many stories we get from people, like I allowed somebody to use their house and they came the house in a mess. My friend, when we came from Riyadh, one of my friends came to study Islam in Riyadh, and his house was in Catford in London. He said, this is the key of my house, go and live with your wife until you find a job. So when we came to the house, there were another guy living in the house, and he used the outside garden like a tib. He buys things in the boxes and he throws the boxes there. And the garden inside the lawn is around a meter high. We couldn't actually, we can't use a lawn mower. We had to bring a farmer, and he start cutting it like, cutting his harvest, his own grain or something, quite long. And then we cut it short and things, and clean the garden outside. Inside, you have to wash the whole house and paint things which you couldn't wash. And then the neighbor here came to thank us, and the neighbor here came to thank us, and the neighbor behind thanked us. So he gave him the chance to use the house. He made it a tip. Everybody was delightful that this guy gone. We went in Cardiff. I did the course in chest diseases and diploma in it, and we hired a house. So when the lady came to take the house, want to go back, she looked. She said, "Stay another week for free." She said, "I was planning to clean it. It will take me a week. Now I don't need to clean it. The next person to hire it will come in a week, so you can stay." Because my wife wouldn't leave the house, like, even not like what we received it. Cleaned everything and things, and it's spotless. So she allows us to sit in the house for another week. So alhamdulillah, I mean, I put one day I put pedometer on my wife's waist, and she walked inside the house more than me walking in the hospital. So, so this is um, Allah Azza wa Jal created the heaven and earth to follow a law in perfect order. We change the law, and everything now created on earth is a mess of man, and we have to face the consequences. وَصَوَّرَكُمْ فَأَحْسَنَ صُوَرَكُمْ. He gave you a shape that is beautiful. I mean, yesterday we saw a lady in one of the programs. She shaved on zero her left side of her head, and the long hair on the. To tell you the truth, was ugly. Probably it was beautiful for her friends, or they were laughing at her behind her back or something. I don't know. And you come, people, the body is tattoos. Why is that? Don't you like the color of your skin? They put all sort of metals in their nose and nipples, and how are you going to breastfeed? I'm not going to breastfeed. I'm not going to have children. No. And no wonder why the population in decline it's now irreversible in Japan and in South Korea, in Scandinavian countries, in Germany, and here probably there's too many Asian, and France there's too many from Morocco and Tunisia reproducing. So there are around 5 million from Morocco in France. And so accept the way Allah has already gave you, the face He gave you. They showed us one of the veteran who was, I think in Afghanistan or Iraq, it was deformed, the whole face deformed. They gave him a new face transplant. But I had difficulty believing it's him. I mean, imagine you look at the picture and you see somebody else. Um, like, what happened to schizophrenic and demented. So I had a patient who was saying that there's somebody living in the house, and that guy, person living in the middle landing. She had a stair to go up and turn and go up again. And I went to see her, and I sent my OT to see her. So my OT was taking her to see whether she can go downstairs and upstairs. And when she arrived to the middle of the stairs, said, that's the person living. She saw her image on the mirror. She had a mirror in the middle landing. She saw herself. That's the guy living there. And I mean, people becoming like this, just accept your image. Allah gave it to you. So that's the beautiful things that Allah gave you to know yourself. But accept Allah gave it to you. Alhamdulillah. Day of Judgment, it will change. All of us will be as smart and beautiful as Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Because you're going back to him, you need to thank him for what he gave, accept. So he will say, yeah, he's a satisfied customer, get him to Jannah. Is somebody dissatisfied? Okay, you can go in hell and see whether you get a better face or not, better body or not. And يعلم ما في السماوات والأرض يعلم ما تسرون وما تعلنون. He knows what's in the heavens and the earth, and he knows what your secret face. He started, teachers will say, he started by telling you he knows your secret before what you say publicly. Because publicly people might see it as well, but the secret Allah Azza wa Jalla knows. يعلم السر وأخفى is another ayah. He knows the secret and more secret than the secret. Which many times you're going through it, that Allah knows your secret today, and your secret which you don't know is going to be your secret tomorrow or next month. So you will have another secret. So Allah knows this secret and that secret. وَمَا تُعْلِنُونَ, and what you announce. And وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Allah knows all what chest hide. Because that's really the problem. I mean, they tried to create all sorts of lying discovery machines and study the facial descriptions and grimacing and facial expressions, subliminal messages, and also to know the secret of people, and they still have difficulty. By the way, I watched some of these films that they're making research to read your thought and things, and I felt myself, and being also a doctor and psychiatrist, that many of it more they say, then producing evidence that they follow certain route to say yes, because of this and this and this, we reach this conclusion. There's still a lot of
Yes, very
mislinks.
experimental,
Yeah,
still
a lot of mislinks, and they deliberately do it. Now, if you have a coup in one of the countries, um, people do percussion to stop the coup happening again. If you make coups in other countries, you know the fault and gaps and loopholes. So the people who make coups in other countries, there's threat on them having a coup done on them. Now there's 30,000 people living around the White House and the Congress because they know the tricks of the trade. It's their make. They made it and spread it across the world. They know it. So the people living everywhere, they say Washington is no longer Washington, it's just 20, 30,000 living around the White House and around the Congress and things. And so Allah Alim bidat as-sudur. Allah knows even more than what's hidden in the chest. So don't think you are going to cheat Allah Azza wa Jal, and be careful because people before you tried and they failed and they disobeyed Allah Azza wa Jal, and they had to suffer the consequences. So all these preparations, Allah Azza wa Jal preparing you to accept that you're not going to escape. Take care of what you do. Make best use of your time. فذاقوا وبال أمرهم ولهم عذاب أليم. They will still have, they they suffer the consequences of their affairs, their wrongdoing, and there is still another punishment waiting for them, because their messengers used to bring messages to them. This is the answer to your question, that Allah Azza wa Jalla make sure that everybody had a messenger. And our Prophet told us there were 120,000 prophets he met in Jerusalem. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, He said, "Minhum man qasasna alayk wa minhum man lam naqsas alayk." Some of them we told you about, some of them we never told you about. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى. In Antakya, there were three messengers came. أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث. Allah sent two messengers to them and denied them, rejected them. Allah sent the third messenger. Three messengers at the same time to a city. So must Allah send a lot of messengers everywhere. We're not aware of them. But Allah has to make sure that you have the knowledge about who is Allah, who is the Creator, what has He done, what He is expecting from us. ذلك بأنهم كانت تأتيهم رسلهم, the messengers used to come to them with the proof, with the evidence. I mean, the very, very easy answer was by Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. I believed in the one who created the suns and moons and stars. And the one who created this universe, I believe in him. He is the God, he is the creator. Easy. Nobody created them. You can't accept that nobody created this building, some company built it. You accept that the bridge was built by somebody, the tunnel was built by somebody. There is a program in a channel on a TV, digital channel called Yesterday. I don't know about some of you watch it or not. They tell you about failing mechanics, failing projects. And amazing, there were so many projects they built and became like out of use or not fit for the purpose or very risky, whatever. Um, and and there's evidence brought to them that this is not going to work. This is going to be against. Um, so this is what the messenger brings through the evidence that nothing is done by itself. They never came to this building. They were in America. They were a news item. There's a building they found in one place and nobody knew where it came from. Suddenly appeared. And then they digged in the papers and they found that they said the same thing about the same building 30 years ago in the same area. It's not nothing nobody knows about it. It's not nobody knew how it went there. It's somebody built it there. And they came and told them, no, there's some people built it and did this and this and this. فقالوا أبشر يهدوننا. That's the problem. أبشر يهدوننا. When I came to Britain, one of the things I discovered very quickly that you're going to convince us that Islam is better, and you come from Syria, and you're Asian, and you're brown, and you're this, and you're that. So one of the brothers became Muslim, white guy in the company, and he said to me, they said to him, his colleagues, oh, he couldn't identify with the British, so you're looking for other people to identify with them. They didn't think at all that Allah, the Creator, we all created by Allah. We have different colors and different nationality. We're born in different places. We're all going back to Allah and all created by the Creator. I'm talking to you about the Creator who created you. Nothing to do with me. I'm passing by. I might be here in this job today, might not be in the job tomorrow, but you will be facing Allah Azza wa Jal. So don't hide behind that I'm better than you. We are white supremacists. This is what triggered the problem there. The white supremacists, we are better. He wouldn't condemn them. He wouldn't say they're wrong. And he said, stay, what he said, stand by when there were the debates. From that time, he's planning. We already stand by. And they're saying there's far much more in it than what we. But he used the white supremacists to back himself. Brown, blonde, and white, blonde, and so on. When people met me and my wife, Dr. Qureshi here and Dr. Sabra, Sabra and Dr. Qureshi were friends. Um, Sabra asked Dr. Qureshi, she said to him, is he married to an English lady? And Dr. Qureshi said, no, she's Syrian, because my secretary in Nottingham, she said, she saw a picture of my wife, said, why don't you bring her to the meeting and people know her? She's pretty, and she's this. She straight away shifted from this profile to this profile after she saw my wife. So, so subhanallah. Here, أَبَشَرٌ يَهْدُونَنَا, human like me, like us. You're coming to tell me you are coming from God? What's wrong with that? If Allah said if there were angels on walking on earth, مطمئنين أرسلنا إليهم ملكا رسولا, Allah will send an angel to them. If there's angels, Allah will send an angel. Human, Allah will send a human. Because you're not going to see the angels, one here on your right, one on the left. You can't see them. You're not made to see angels. You're made to see human. And he brought you. He doesn't need to bring you evidence that Allah exists. The Prophet ﷺ didn't come to say there is God. He came to say no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah. Because nobody can say the universe created itself. The one who created the universe is the one I'm asking you to believe in. And he is the only one. Now.
I mean, another thing which I can think of is that Allah didn't send angels to guide us because we are the best creation. So Allah can't send.
Yeah, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. He didn't send angels to guide us because the believer is better than angels.
We are better, so Allah can't send kind of a lesser.
Yeah, subhanallah. Because you have the choice and you chose to believe in Allah. While the angels, لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They never disobey Allah Azza wa Jal and they do as they are told. So you are better because you chose to believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's problem. That's not only the prophets, they will sell it to everybody who try to make a change. Oh, you're not going to make me I'm not going to be your student. I'm not going to be your followers. Because, I'm not asking you to be my followers. Follow Allah Azza wa Jal. But this is the way people unfortunately see it. My own brother, he was 2 years older than me. I didn't talk to him about coming to the mosque and learn Islam and things. I have a friend who was similar age like his, who had achieved in the university, was higher in the university than him, and I made him befriend him without me in the picture. And they became friends, and he took him to the mosque, and he became really very committed. So that's nature. The Prophet ﷺ came, most of the elderly didn't follow him. Most of the people followed the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ were his age or younger. Very few from older age. No, Warqa bin Nawfal, he said, I wish I was young. I would defend you when you are forced out of your land. And they died. He died very quickly, in the same year or the next year. وَتَوَلَّوْا, and they left. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He doesn't need them. Allah is Ghani. واستغنى Allah, He can live without them. It's their loss. Even all the people on earth, if they become believers, they will not add anything to the ownership of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's all owned by Him. If all of them became disbelievers, Allah will lose nothing. They will all die and leave everything behind and go back to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah can repair all the earth which you disrupted and things. واستغنى Allah. This is why I said, when virus came and Hajj cancelled and Ziyarah cancelled and mosques closed and no Fridays and no Eid, no Ramadan, no Taraweeh, I was really worried that Allah doesn't need us anymore, doesn't want us. Because it's in the hand of Allah. I mean, who would say that would be even more sinister virus spreading 70 times, 70% faster? And the ITU didn't fill in March last year. Now they're filling up. And Brazil now, the whole South America cannot come to Britain, including Portugal, because they used to come hub, stop there and come here. They stop them. So Allah might give us a mess. Forget about them. That we hope not, because we need Allah Azza wa Jal. Because you reach a stage when um, it's really very difficult. Like you can't visit your own friends, your own sons and daughters. And people are reporting each other. They're taking videos and cameras, and because why I'm supporting the lockdown, stop the spread, and you're not. There's many attacks now between people themselves, in shops and street and things, and you are not wearing the mask and you giving the virus. So we hope not, because this is no sign of removing injustice. There's no sign. There's a lot of countries unjustly treated, a lot of millions of people suffering. Millions of people are homeless, millions of people are refugees, millions of people are, skin, and you see people in Yemen, the children, bone and skin. You can't even recognize whether he's 5 years old or 15 years old or 20 years old. They look like 3 years old, look like 20 years old. Because when you are very slim, become look old. And injustice is still there. It's not addressed. Unless they address it, probably this virus will get even worse and worse. Now in France, and it's curfew from 6 o'clock. It's, we are luckier than many countries. I've sent you a video in Pakistan. A guy came out of the house and then a guy hit him with the bottle straight away. Get in. They're not allowing. In China, you're allowed to go shopping alternate week. Like, one go this week, his wife go next week, then he's the week after. Because, they just forced everybody, wear mask everywhere and things. And they still have now 170 cases yesterday, and there were 137 the day before, so increasing. So this is now the WHO went there to investigate, and took them months before they allowed them to go and investigate. واستغنى الله والله غني حميد. And Allah Azza wa Jalla wants us not to listen to those kafirin who say they will not be brought back to life again. The problem is death. And the problem is you are aware of yourself while you are half dead, asleep at night. You don't disconnect. You're not aware of your body, what your body is doing, but you are aware of yourself. And the Prophet ﷺ told us that by Allah, you will die like when you sleep, and you will be brought back to life like when you wake up. And the slave person is like that. And it's in the Quran. Allah يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها. Allah takes the souls of people when they are dying, and if they are not dying while they are asleep. So the thing is that your soul, which is not a body, not a matter, is you, and you will stay there. The thing is that Allah showed us many times through prophets who brought back people to life from dead, and they spoke and things like Isaiah and like the guy who said Musa when they slaughtered the cow and they hit him. And so he, as a person, he still exists. They can't use the body. So and then guess what? You will be told you'll be told what you've been doing. And that's the one which they're afraid of, the kafirin, that they will be accountable to what they have done in this life, even if they are not caught in this life. Now, the kafirin, the unbelievers, they don't want death penalty because they say he escapes the punishment. He doesn't. Death penalty doesn't escape the punishment. Probably purify him from the sin before Allah Azza wa Jal, but But the punishment will be there if he doesn't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal and he made the mess in this life, he'll be punished. But they want him to stay in jail, like Jimmy Savile when he was caught that he was abusing children. He was already dead. They were really annoyed and upset because he wasn't in the prison, he wasn't punished and things. No, no, don't worry. Allah will catch them over there next life. And that's the challenge from Allah. That's really powerful. Allah, God, powerful God. He's not punishing us now. He's saying, okay, die. I'll punish you next life. So if the people who don't believe in Allah should be more worried, because now I know, if I broke the law, you stop me and fine me, you pay £200 if you're not wearing the mask, and £10,000 if you have a party in your house, and pay it and finish from it, and that's it, back to square one. Although in this country there will be black mark on you. Wherever you go, he broke the law. She left her house and went to her second house, and she lost her job, the chief medical officer in Scotland. You remember last lockdown? And now they're saying whether Boris Johnson was riding his bike from 7 miles to here, or was he given a lift or whatever. So that's the fear that you will face the music the next life. That's why they deny. In in some Bibles and some Christians, there's removed hell. There's no hell. Either you go to paradise or you perish. Why they can't accept the the fear of hell? وذلك على الله يسير. It's easy. Then Allah will come to the subject. We'll probably leave it till next week, inshallah. فآمنوا بالله. The consequence of believing Allah Azza wa Jal and His Messenger and the light He sent with His Messenger. The Quran is light. It's like a floodlight in front of you. It's a projector, project in front of you. You know what's good, what's bad, what's wrong, what's right. You're okay. You're safe. Even food, we know what's haram, what's halal. We don't eat. They discovered this animal which carried the virus. They smuggling it to other country. How mad? I mean, you can't smuggle any animals, but this animal who carried the virus and blocked all the planet's Earth, they're still smuggling it to breed somewhere else. We'll stop here, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. The very ayah will be the main subject of the surah, inshallah, next week. يوم يجمعكم يوم الجمع ذلك يوم التغابن. We'll come through it and the sequence of that, inshallah. اللهم اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. May Allah make our meeting blessed and protect us after leaving here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. See you next week, inshallah. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. I have to go back to that.